Hi, it's Adam back from the Rubik's Cubed, and today I have a Q&A. So I asked you guys on Instagram for some non-cubing questions, so let's take a look. Total Challengers asks, what's the longest time you have ever taken to make a video? So, good question, I like this one. My family took a vacation before Nationals 2016, I want to say, which is whichever one Portland was, and we visited Seattle. So one thing I really wanted to try was to do like a vlog style thing showing our trip to Seattle and also Portland Nats. When all was said and done and we got home, I had upwards of 7-8 hours of footage. Also at that point in time, after that summer, I was starting my junior year of high school, which was the toughest year of high school yet. So around the November-ish area, September, those months, the beginning of school, is when I was editing that video, and it ended up taking like 3 or 4 months for me to finish it. And when all was said and done, I got it down to an hour in length. For that reason, I'm pretty proud of the video today, even though I definitely think I could do a much better job now. But that's the reason why I don't record a lot of my competitions anymore, especially the big ones. It is a lot of work to edit those videos and recording also. One thing people don't consider is that if you're spending time recording at a competition, you're not spending time with your friends or cubing or doing other things. It can take a real toll on you during the competition. It's really tiring. And so that's why in subsequent nationals I didn't record anything. I tried to do a little bit of a vlog style at Worlds, but my footage is still on my desktop, which is at my dorm. And because of COVID, I can't go back and get it. So I haven't been able to edit that yet. I know it's far too late to post a Worlds video, so I think I might do something with the footage, like do a supercut or maybe try to do a little documentary that's maybe not an hour long, but something a little shorter. Either way, I don't plan on doing a project that huge for a very long time again, because it takes a lot of energy. Zonal Jump 97 asks, how are you doing in quarantine? Thank you very much for asking. Pretty well. So short answer, I'm an introvert. I get my energy from non-social activities, so I'm doing fine just being in my house. Long answer, I actually am kind of comforted with everything that's been going on. I mean, obviously it's far from ideal, but let me explain a little bit. So I'm a little bit of a nihilist, and I had my whole 2020 planned out. My 4th semester of college was happening in the spring. I had 3 jobs and 17 credits on my plate. It was a crazy amount of work, and I knew it was going to be awful. But after my 4th semester, I was supposed to go straight into a summer internship at GE Aviation, and then get back just in time to leave again to school for my 5th semester, which is when I'm finally done with my gen eds and go into mostly major requirement courses, which was also going to be hard because it's engineering, gen ed. That's what my schedule looks like. So yeah, long story short, I thought my life was over until maybe winter break 2020. And then right around spring break, remote learning happens, and all of a sudden I have nothing to do. So this goes back to the comforting part. From a nihilistic perspective, I find it comforting that I had all of these plans, like my life planned out, and the universe said, you know what? No, you were going to do this instead. So as a result, I find myself now putting a lot of time into YouTube and doing what I really want to. So while the day-to-day may suck a little bit because there's not a lot of motivation, in the larger scheme of things, I'm comforted with the fact that sort of anything can happen. This is proof that anything can happen, and that I should just do what I want to do and what I enjoy. So that's a big lesson from quarantine that I've learned. And I think even though things are going to eventually go back to normal, I'm going to try to pursue that sort of line of thinking in the future. Next question, Steve Griggs asks, what is the best place on Long Island? I don't really know much about Long Island. I visited Stony Brook once when I was looking at colleges, and I've been to Long Island a couple other times, but I don't really know much about it. So I'm going to adapt this question a little bit and change it to what's the best place in New York City, because I am familiar with New York City. If you ever find yourself there, make sure you check out the High Line. That's one place I really, really like. It's on the west side, downtown Manhattan, I'm pretty sure, near Chelsea Markets. So it's an old elevated subway track, and they turned it into a park. So you basically are just like walking among the buildings in this really nice elevated area, and there's plenty to do in that area: art galleries, Chelsea Market, food. But yeah, if you ever find yourself in New York City, go check that out. It's really cool. I love it. Brendan Long 5 asks, are you into any new hobbies? So I have tried a couple more things in quarantine. I'm cooking a little bit more, at least more than reheating leftovers or making frozen meals. So that's good. I thought it's probably about time I learned how to do a little bit of cooking. The favorite thing I've made so far are chicken and waffles. I'm gluten free, so I had to make gluten free waffles with a waffle iron, and they were really, really good. Other than that, I've been working out a bit more. It started as just something to fill in the time when I was bored and didn't know what to do. I just went and exercised, and I've been enjoying it actually. I haven't really been motivated in the past to get like super in shape or anything. If you can't tell, my body type is lanky skeleton. So it doesn't hurt to put some muscle on the bones, basically. Brendan Long Cubing asks, favorite class you've been taking? I'm pretty sure that's, unless there's another Brendan Long, that's just your other account. Like, you can ask 2 questions. That's all right, dude. So this semester, like I said, is a really tough semester. I took a computer science for engineers course, and I really, really enjoyed that. It's MATLAB was the program that we learned to code in. I've tried coding in the past, haven't really liked it, but the structure of this course was really nice, so I've really enjoyed that. Besides that, a class that's really frustrated me has been solid state materials. It's known as one of the hardest classes that we have to take in my major. And so I was very frustrated during different parts of the course because I wasn't really happy with the instruction and it was really hard. But now that I'm done and I'm looking back on it, I have learned a lot in that class and the content was really, really interesting. In summary, it's about solids, everything about solids. Which sounds boring, but then you get into specifics on an atomic scale, like the origin of bonding, attractive bonds. And then a large chunk of the course was talking about quantum mechanics and particle wave duality and all sorts of really interesting stuff that I could probably talk about for a very, very long time. But bottom line, it taught me a lot. And even though I struggled a lot with it, I came out a better engineer at the end of the course. So I appreciate that about it. A.E. Silvers, any new advice for content creators? That's my cousin Andrew. Check out his YouTube channel. So that's probably why he's asking it. Honestly, just do what you want to do. This is a subject I could talk about for a very long time. I mean, I could talk about my own growth on YouTube over the past 7 years, but I feel like that's a topic for a whole separate video. Saving the long story for another day, the end lesson is just do what you want to do, because that's the only way you're going to enjoy putting out the content. Another piece of advice that I really like is make every video better than your last. Whether it's implementing a new idea or trying a new editing trick or something small, whatever it is, just make it so that you're proud of whatever change or direction you're going in every time you make a new video. And then before you know it, 10, 20 videos later, you're going to have a much higher quality piece of content than what you originally started with. It doesn't really happen overnight. You build it up over time. But again, none of that matters unless you really enjoy what you're doing. So just do something you enjoy and make something you're proud of. And that's all that really matters. Matt Preston asks, what's a hobby you find so interesting that you'll refuse to learn it just because it's fascinating to be a spectator for it? That's a really interesting question. I like that. And something does come to mind. I didn't like basketball until my sophomore year of high school. And by then, if you hadn't been practicing as a kid, you're going to be behind everybody else your age in terms of skill. But during lunch in high school, I loved playing pickup basketball with my friends. And that was always fun because they're my friends. But one thing that I've learned is that I just don't like the culture of basketball competition. I used to do Taekwondo as a kid. In fact, I'm a black belt. But a funny story is that we had to spar in order to get our black belts. And I hated sparring. I am not a physical competitor. I'm more like a mental competitor. I like academic competition. But if you are facing me and want to physically fight me, I do not want to do that. I'm just not that person. And basketball is very physically competitive. What's worse is, and this is relevant right now because there's a documentary out called The Last Dance, almost everybody in basketball idolizes Michael Jordan. There's no denying Michael Jordan was great at what he did, but his philosophy was win at all costs. And because of that, he's not a good person. I really don't like Michael Jordan because he's just not nice. I have choice words that I won't use on this video that I think about it. I just think it's not a good life philosophy to win at the cost of being a bad person, pushing out everyone around you. If that's your life goal, okay. But I'd rather be a good person to everybody around me. But hey, for whatever reason, because Michael Jordan's great at basketball, everybody loves Michael Jordan in basketball culture. So if you go to any park that's famous for pickup basketball, like Rucker Park in New York, or you go to Venice Beach and try to play pickup, There is a ton of trash talk. There's no etiquette. It's street ball. And I hate that. It's such a learning curve. Like, if you're not good at basketball, you can't just walk out and play for fun. There's no such thing. It's like people don't know the concept of playing basketball for fun. So I've never liked competing because I wasn't good and I just wanted to play for fun, but nobody in basketball plays pickup for fun. People are so personally invested, it's crazy. So long story short, I'm happy to be a spectator of basketball games, whether it's professionally, I'm a huge Knicks fan, or even watching pickup games in my university's gym. But I'm usually pretty hesitant to go and play competitive pickup basketball myself. I like playing one-on-one versus my friends because I know my friends won't be mean to me. We're just doing for fun, you know? But if random guys ask if I want to play pickup, I'm usually a little bit hesitant. Derpy asks, what's the longest you've gone without sleeping? So, funny story. I was finishing up my finals on Friday night and I was taking my DiffEQ final, differential equations. It's Calc 4. It is ridiculously hard, so hard. And the final was the hardest exam I've ever taken. And I just had several panic attacks in the middle of that exam. It was not good. And I had a lot of adrenaline running because of that. It was my last final. I finished at midnight. I was done. And still, I couldn't fall asleep. I tried my best, but I was so hyped up from all the adrenaline after taking that exam that I stayed up the entire night. At 5 a.m., I gave up trying to fall asleep and I just got up for the day and did my stuff. So besides taking a nap later the next day for 20 minutes, I stayed up for 48 hours. It was not a pleasant experience. I don't recommend it. If you can fall asleep, do that. Frank is Funny asks, how did you... So I think this is probably a joke, but real answer, I got lucky. If you're asking this and then preceding it, you have anything fill in the blank, the answer is probably I got lucky. Ian Jones asks, what's your favorite album? My favorite album of all time is Flower Boy by Tyler, the Creator. Number 2 would be Blonde by Frank Ocean. Number 3, Igor by Tyler, the Creator. Number 4, Care For Me by Saba. And number 5, probably The Life of Pablo by Kanye. The last 2 are kind of iffy. The first 3 shuffle around a little bit, but they're pretty cemented. Just kidding. Die Lit by Playboy Cardi. Ethan asks, what's on your bucket list? Hi, Ethan. That's my roommate from first semester. I am not a huge proponent of bucket lists. My goal in life is to just do whatever I want to do in that moment. I'm not very good at doing that, but I guess that's the one item on my bucket list, just to do whatever I want to do right now. And right now I want to make videos, and I'm accomplishing that, so I guess you can count that a win for my bucket list. What's funny is, if in the future I want to make a bucket list, then I will make a bucket list, and that's an exception to the no bucket list rule. G253Cubing says, you've been quite creative with your sticker mods and with your channel. Oh, thank you very much. Do you do any other creative stuff? Good question. Well, yeah, I like design a lot, actually, and I guess the sticker mods were the first manifestation of me trying to be creative with design. But recently I've gotten into fashion and streetwear and stuff like that, actually for the past 2 or 3 years. Bit of a sneakerhead. So yeah, the merch that I just recently made, that was all about being creative. I really want to design shirts, and I will continue to design shirts. I recently got a heat press to actually work on shirts in my own house, so I'm really excited for that. And speaking of sneakers, I have these, which I'll be working on probably a video in the near future. But yeah, I love messing around with that sort of stuff, and whenever I get an idea, trying to make it. SRC3223 asks, what's your college major? My college major is Materials Science Engineering. So basically there are a couple common subsets like polymers, which is plastics, ceramics, glass, and metals. And so you can go into specific subsets and learn about microscopic and macroscopic properties. So an example of what a materials scientist may do for an aviation company, like I'm doing a summer internship with GE Aviation, we may test out the mechanical properties of ceramic engine components, make sure that they can withstand the heat of an engine, or make sure that the paint on the outside of a plane isn't conductive so that it won't get struck by lightning, things like that, talking about materials properties and making materials. It's a very, very versatile part of engineering. It can be applied to a lot of different areas. Personally, I want to go into research and development, so I could go, who knows, whatever subset. I'm interested in polymers right now, but that may change. So right now I'm in 3D printing research, and that's the way I'm doing my creativity with polymers and stuff like that. So yeah. All right, I got a minute left on my camera, so we're going to do a speed round. Favorite haircut? Not this one. PB on 3x3, 10 something? What languages do I speak? 1. English. Have I ever tried speed stacking? No. Alright guys, that's about it for this one. If you have any questions for another future Q&A, leave them below. They could be about cubing, but I prefer questions that are not about cubing. You have a higher chance of getting in. Either way, thank you so much for watching. See ya!